The stripper index is the relationship between strippers' cash tips to the financial strain of consumers and the current economic cycle. When ex-user and stripper at Botticelli Bimbo correctly predicted an economic decline in 2022 based on her profits at work, economists paid more attention to the index more closely. So the question that we want to ask today is, can the stripper index really forecast recession? So the economists, who I think are kind of stupid, made an argument that the strip club tips were related to discretionary income, which are the money that you have left over after paying for all necessities. When people have discretionary income, going to a strip club isn't immediate, necessary thing that they have to do. In recessions, people are going to spend more on things they need, their bills, their food, energy, and gas. So that's complete BS. If you want to see a pair of boobs or get a lap dance, nothing is going to stop you from seeing those pair of boobs or getting a lap dance. Now keep watching and I'll tell you where I think the money is going and what Botticelli Bimbo should actually do instead of stripping. Now, I know that times are tough these days, and while we're on the topic of discretionary income, if you want to make a couple more bucks every single month, then I made a full guide on Pinterest affiliate marketing that anyone can do, and you can check that out right here for free right after this video. So according to the article that I referred to, 66.7% of payments for SEX work is done in cash. And according to the economists, they were saying that when this decreases, that means that people has less discretionary income to spend at the strip club. So I forecast that the stripper industry is gonna become obsolete in the next couple decades. And stick with me because I'm gonna explain why in a few. But let me roll back onto why the money was drying out for exotic dancers. It's because 66.7% of payments for SEX work is done in cash. I mean, tell me, when was the last time that you carried cash around with you? I mean, the last time I carried cash was around 2 years ago. It was always in my wallet and I just never used it. I would always use credit card because there's two reasons. One, I get points, and two, it's easier to track all my purchases for tax purposes for the next year. The fact is that people have gotten lazier. I mean, let me know in the comments. When you go to a strip club, are you actually going to go out of your way to go to a bank to get money in order to go to a strip club? Most people won't do that. I mean, I'm super lazy, I won't do that. And I know there are ATMs at the strip club that's going to feed you singles, but there's always a fee associated with withdrawing money, and as an Asian, I'm way too cheap to pay for that fee. And in addition to that, there's something that it's not talked about enough, and that's the male crisis that's happening right now. So I asked Gemini how many men have no close social connections, and Gemini responded that 28%, or 1/4 of men, reported having no close social connections. So I remember the first time I ever visited a strip club. It was 13 years ago, back in 2011 in Old Town, Montreal. Back then I was working at BlackBerry in Waterloo, Canada, and we decided to take a trip over to Montreal, and we commemorated by having steaks at the Keg Steakhouse, which I think is Canadian only, but it was in Old Montreal, and right next door there was a cigar bar, so we did that too. The cigar bar was definitely a first experience for me, and we ended up the night at the strip club. And you know, before going to Montreal, I was so naive and innocent, and after leaving Montreal, I was not so naive and innocent. So the point I'm trying to make is that I never went to a strip club alone. I always went with either a group of guys or a close friend. And if you're wondering how I remember my first strip club experience that well, it was just that good, because I still think that first strip club in Montreal was the best strip club that I've been to, and that's how I remember it so vividly. And it was with a great group of guys, great experience. And let me know in the comments, actually, how was your first strip club experience? I mean, what was it like? Who were you with? So rolling back to the question of where the money is going, the short answer is OnlyFans. So Gemini reported the following revenue figures for OnlyFans. 2019, they made $49.9 million. 2020, $375 million. 2021, $1.09 billion. And 2022, $5.55 billion. I mean, times are changing. I think that guys just prefer OnlyFans a lot more. It's way more economical. I mean, you can subscribe to the girl you want. You can have unlimited content, I think, because I've never used OnlyFans before. You don't have to have that pressure in a strip club where you're constantly dropping singles, and you don't have to worry about cover charges or bouncers kicking you out of the club, so that you don't have to take account of. And last but not least, and most important, is that you can pleasure yourself at the same time. Also, I think that in most states, when you go to a strip club, there is a no-touch policy. So there's basically no difference between the strip club and OnlyFans, except that there's just a screen in front of you. And guys, I don't think this is even the end. I mean, with AI, sex robots are gonna be a thing. So I can't see the strip club industry lasting more than a few decades. I mean, Futurama literally predicted this.
You're one sexy man. Fill up, J. Fry.
So back to answering our question from the start of this video. Can the stripper index really forecast recessions? Now, while I think that it is fun to talk about, the answer is a quick no. Because the sex work industry is relatively small at $15 billion annual. Compared to the $20 trillion in commercial real estate, it's a drop in the bucket. What's more worrying to me is the 1 trillion of 4.7 trillion of commercial real estate loans that are due in 2024. And the banks hold 47% or half of those loans. I don't want to think about what would happen if the banks cannot pay back those loans. But if you are curious about how many millennials are actually faking their wealth, then you might want to check out this video that I made here.